Hey guys, I got a very interesting theory. What if the electric car was meant to fail? What if the electric car was just a phase to purposefully mismanage funds and purposefully use government grants and carbon credits and zero credits and green credits and all the garbage they created around the bureaucracy around the electric car? The reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you think about it, why did they kill the electric car in 1981-82? Now you're going to come and say in the comments, well, the oil companies and the greedy oil companies and oil companies. No, you know what? We were getting to a point where fuel, gasoline, we're already designing and making motors that could work off the fumes off the gasoline. We were designing and making motors that could go to 1,000 miles on a single tank. We were already designing for the future of fuel, right? Now, you're probably going to tell me in the comments again, oh, it's this evil oil companies that killed the electric car in the 1980s. I think they knew something. I think they knew something in the 1980s that they didn't really make public when it came to electric cars, and why they killed the electric car in a spot. Because I always believed that if the electric car bloomed and the electric car grow and innovate and grow bigger, I was a true believer that the electric car, through the pioneer stages in the early 80s, heck, we got videos of people driving electric scooters and all kinds of stuff back in the late 1800s. Yes, you can look them up. There's reels, tons of reels on them, of people using electric type vehicles back in the early 20th turn of the century, of the 20th century. But why did they kill the electric car? What do they know then? Because now what I'm seeing here and what I'm observing with this electric car craze, we got cemeteries in China and other places of electric cars that were never sold. And we covered this on Mike in the Night, showing you guys video of these electric cars, that basically these electric car cemeteries all over the place. Were they repairables? Were they broke down or misfunctioned or malfunctioned? I don't think so. I think they were just unsold and they were just scrapped. I believe that the whole electric car theory is a complete myth. It exists, you get in it, you drive. But I don't think they really thought a lot of these things through. Because if you look at the Cybertruck, there's a recall on the Cybertruck. They're canceling X amount of orders because the glue that holds the paneling together is falling apart. Like literally, the panels are falling off the car because the glue that they have, they don't rivet it, they don't weld it, they don't actually put it together like it's supposed to be put together, like you would think it would be, and what you're paying for it. But that's a big problem, right? Especially when you're spending what they're charging for those things. I think the electric car is a gigantic myth. I think it's just a front for carbon credits and taxes and government grants and all kinds of stuff, right? Like, I mean, think about it. They killed it back in the 80s, and then we were told it was the greedy oil companies. But what if that wasn't the case? What if there's something a lot more behind the electric car? What if it was something they didn't want to make public to us, right? And they found out about it again, and they realized certain aspects and things. Oh, but our batteries are now lithium ion, they're better, and they're all this and that. The amount of extraction of minerals to get an electric car working and running and fueling it through electricity is 10, 20, 30 times more than combustion. The amount of extractable minerals that need to get out of the ground to build an electric car, and the amount of barrels of oil to do all the resins and all the plastics and the interiors and the fabrication is crazy. I don't know, guys. I think we're going to see the death of the electric car, just like we did back in the early 80s when it was a pilot project. A lot of companies jumped on it. It was Chevrolet, I think it was Honda, it was a couple of German companies. They jumped onto the whole electric car craze back in the 80, 81, 82. But we were meant to be told that the greedy oil companies shut it all down. Why? when it's going to take a bunch of oil to make it. It's going to take a ton of oil just to make a car, with all the resins and plastics and byproducts and fibers and all that stuff. Where do you think it comes from? So there's something else with the electric car. I believe it's more almost like a financial waste, money laundering psyop. Big, deep. Look at the carbon credits. Look at the green credits. Look at the tax grants. Look at the government grants. Look at the state grants. Look at all the stuff. And then when somebody else wants to start another company, then multiple companies, they start getting into these turf wars, right? You know that, right? You saw that. We talked about this before. The electric companies were at each other's throats. What is it about the electric car? We know it's not feasible. We were talking about Mike and the Knights. The charging stations that we saw on the way here to California when we drove, very limited to no charging stations. I spoke to someone in town, finally I found someone to talk to, that had a Tesla. And they told me that they just keep it local. They don't take it too far because they just have problems with it breaking down, or it just doesn't work properly. And then that's their experience. And they have a newer one too, like a 2023 model they have. Yeah, 2023 model. Look brand new. But we're getting this. And then on the way here, so many of them on the back of tow trucks. So many Teslas or electric cars. Well, I don't know how to identify the other electric cars. The Tesla is one that's visually easy to stands out. I saw tons of them on the back of tow trucks on the way here. I saw tons of them on the side of the road broken down on the way here. Lots of them. So what's this myth, this electric car myth theory? It's something. And I think it's going to start to fizzle out. The electric car will fizzle out. And by 2030, we'll be using different fuels, biofuels, better fuels, nitrogen, just many other ways we could fuel our vehicles. And I think the electric car will be, again, dead in the water, just like in the 80s. And then when there's some sort of a scheme of money flowing, money laundering, money layering, whatever they want to do, I got an idea. Let's make electric cars. Think of it. Just like climate change. And then it was acid rain. Then it was global warming. So they're finding these ways to acquire funds through a bigger system. And the electric car could be some sort of a unified universal system where the money just pours in and it gets layered. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking here. Are we going to see, I'm putting my foot down, we'll see the death of the electric car by 2030. And then 5 years after, they're going to blame the greedy oil companies by 2035 and said and blame, just like we did back in the 80s. I think I could see this happening again. And it makes sense for it to happen again because there's other fuels we could use. They could give us 1,000 miles on the tank. And they know that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Mike Martins here in California, Redding, California. I have spoken.